Hello, everyone. Casey Durango here of Go Keto with Casey. Today, I'm not necessarily going to talk about the ketogenic protocol, although we can talk about anything you like. But I wanted to reach out. I think that in these times of isolation and separation and sequestration, that it's important to try to make as many contacts as we can, as often as we can, just to keep a sense of normalcy. I was going to do the video out by the pond, but this particular setup, the lighting just doesn't work. I need like a professional lighting crew to come out just because of the orientation of our house and the amount of trees and the shadows and the fact that when I'm lit with sunlight on the camera, I look like I'm glowing because I'm very white. Okay, I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone in your world is well. I will tell you, everyone in my world, my lovely mate, our adult children and their families are all well. So first of all, we check in with each other, right? So let's check in. I do see some familiar names around here. Hello. Hi, Sparkle. Love your name. Trish, the helicopter pilot in from Chapel Hill. Oh, I do want to say something. I'll repeat this again later. And kind of an impromptu, there's going to be an impromptu crowdcast live stream with Dr. Eric Westman and me today at 2 o'clock, so in a couple of hours, 2 o'clock Eastern, talking about, he really wants to get the word out about covering our faces. He's already put out a video on him sewing. Well, he's got a sewing machine. He's a man of many talents, but he wants to talk about it. He feels very strongly about this. So we've had a little back and forth today, and we're going to do a live stream at 2 o'clock, and it's going to be the two of us on screen together. It's different, a little bit different than a YouTube live. It's through Crowdcast, which is a very good platform. If you register, registration space is limited because over a certain number of registrants, I'm charged. And I'm generous, but I'm frugal, and times are, we need to be frugal. So you can register for free. It's open to the public. And if you want, beforehand, you can ask a question on the platform. So here is the how to get there. And it is, like I said, it's free. You need to sign up with Crowdcast, but not to purchase it or anything. It's just a registration for, it's very simple. It's what I use with my patrons for patron-only live streams and and for a Wednesday wine day with, oh yes, for those of you who don't know, we have backyard chickens. And this is after having sold many dozens of eggs and gifted some. We probably have 115 eggs on our countertop right now, so we will not be starving. So thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Again, hey, Mary Nis, good morning. She has a little coffee mug next to her name. She joined the Go Keto with Casey Club on YouTube, which is most humbling, and thank you. Hey, Shell. So, show of hands. Is everyone okay? Or write it down if you wish. You don't have to show your hands. Good morning, good day from Southwest Michigan. Hey, Kathy. Cynthia Leith, how do I do Chromecast? This is not Chromecast, it's Crowdcast. If you click on the link, it'll take you to Crowdcast, to that event, and you just say, let me in. It'll be a little thing, say, oh, I want to go in there, let me in. And then it'll ask you a couple of questions. I think it just be your email address. And that's it. Then you'll get a reminder right before it goes live. So it's not Chromecast, it is Crowdcast. Hello, my mother is waiting on COVID-19 test, home feeling good on meds in the meantime. Thanks for the good info, Melinda Rose writes. Mona Tufan from Istanbul, also a member of the club. Hey, Casey, we are fine here in Istanbul. Have the elders of the community, Mona, started staying inside? You shared a couple of weeks ago that it seems to be the older folks that are just saying, I'm going outside. I'm going to the park, where your city pulled up the park benches even to try to get people. Spive21 writes, hi from Wales. Mary Nitz, look at all the eggs. The chickens have been busy. They have. We've got 16 chickens, and we're getting like 14, 15, 16 eggs a day. That won't last. It was just the timing of when we got this flock. And they will start to molt, and one will go broody, and then they'll get older. I hope your mother is okay. Melinda, are you well? And Oh, Shell writes, hubby has high anxiety about all of this. Of course, we are still grieving over his dad. That makes it so much worse, of course. You know, if you want to listen to somebody who's calm, listen to Dr. Westman. He wants us to take achievable precautions. He is saying we can get in front of this, and we shall. So maybe your husband can listen in today. This will be Dr. Westman's show. I will be fielding questions and comments. If I can restrain myself, it's difficult. Mona writes, they are inside now. It's banned to go out. If you're over 65 and below 20 years old, youngs spread the virus, authority says. In our county, is it our county? No, it's our state. They do a pretty good job of putting out numbers and information. So every day the numbers are updated for the state and the counties. By age, about 47% of the confirmed cases are people aged 25 to 49. 47%, nearly half. Like 11% are 18 to 25. Sadly, the number of deaths are like 75 or 80% those over 65. And about 80% are male. So if you're an older gentleman, please be careful. Shell writes, Westman is my dude. Lots of kissy faces. We all have a crush on Dr. Westman, let's face it. Cindy Whitaker writes, unfortunate, our state is not shut down yet. Arkansas, really? Is it because it's just not an issue yet? Of course, my husband's home country of Colombia has done great. They have like 1,200 cases countrywide and maybe 10 deaths, but they shut the country down about a month ago, 4 weeks ago. And they did not, this was no joke. And they're taking care of people who can't get out to get food. They're bringing food to the people, but they're taking precautions. So hopefully Arkansas will get on. But, if they don't, you can practice good care. So listen to Dr. Westman's talk today. And if you have questions, enter them. Hey, Trish, my 94-year-old mom is 82. My 94-year-old mom to 82-year something for a much needed shower yesterday. The three of us in the three corners of her living room, 6 feet distance, Hi from Texas, writes Linda Bridges. And Shell writes, Taiwan has some really great measures to help contain this. We can do this. Everything can't be related to the ketogenic diet, but the ketogenic diet is so simple, people have difficulty believing that it can work. Just keep your carbs low. Don't eat if you're not hungry, which sounds like what we should have always been doing all the time. And stop eating when you're satiated. Again, right? The simplest thing can be wash your hands. Don't mess with your face if you've not washed your hands. Keep a little distance. Cover your face. Don't go out if you don't have to. These are things that cost zero. And that's going to be a lot of what Dr. Westman's going to talk about, I believe, on the mask issue, about if what you've got is a bandana, put it over your face. Leave the medical, the PPE, leave the medical masks for the medical providers who really need it. Hey, Stuart Pierce is actually Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Trish reads, put on reading glasses. You telling me? Victoria, I just couldn't find who Myra was. When and where can we join Dr. Westman's talk today? There is a link. I'll put it back again. There's a link. It's at Crowdcast. He and I will be there. It is Crowdcast, not YouTube. Just click the link, go let me in and reserve your spot. And then it's at 2 p.m. And all you have to do is, Crowdcast is pretty good. They'll send you a reminder, but you can hang out there if you want and just wait for it to start up. Mona writes, here police force organizers to shop for elders, and they bring their salary to their homes for them not to go out in need. We just have to be apart for a little bit. And that's kind of the thinking of this. We all need to be apart, but we can come together. It's the yin and yang. It's two sides of the same coin. So while we physically distance ourselves, we don't need to emotionally distance, and we certainly don't need to be ugly about it. We need to keep our heads. Don't stockpile things. Get enough food and supplies until the next time you go to the store. Publix grocery chain has a really very effective commercial. It makes me cry every time I hear it. You know, we're here, our supply chain is intact. We are restocking. Please, when you come, buy the provisions you need for your week. Leave some on the shelves for your friends and neighbors. That should be what we're doing anyway. Rocket scientist 66, hey, from Switzerland. We're all social distancing. All non-essential businesses are closed. Schools are closed. Borders are closed. My work belongs to essential group. Hope I stay healthy on keto. You know, I have a t-shirt. Stay healthy, stay keto. No, stay keto, stay healthy. But you can see, I don't know. I'm not going to put a link to it. But this is the best thing we can do right now, stay healthy. Fortunately, I personally feel very healthy. I know I'm not immune. The ketogenic protocol is not a miracle cure, but I can tell you what, I don't have inflammation, and my body is not working overtime trying to use its defenses to deal with type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure or arthritis or acid reflux or eczema or irritable bowel syndrome. And make no mistake, our bodies have to fight those things. They don't always win, but they're always fighting. My body's not fighting any of those things. So if something happens, I've got 99.9% of my defenses at the ready. Mona writes, being kind to delivery guys coming to our door is also important. Some treat them as a virus. Some delivery guys complain to the newspapers. Yeah, they're trying to do a service. They're trying to make a living. They're trying to be on the front lines, and then they're treated like lepers. Jenny writes, my country is on lockdown. I'm trying to go outside in my yard as much as possible and praying for an end to this. Take zinc. This will end. It will. It will end. We know this. So as the Dalai Lama says, if a problem has a solution, there's no need to worry. If a problem has no solution, worry is of no use. This has a solution. We just haven't gotten to it yet, but we will. But there are some precautions if it's not a solution. Physically distance, don't go out if you don't need to. Our state is on pretty restrictive. We are on stay-at-home orders if you are not essential, except for grocery stores and things like this. So schools are closed. All restaurants, things, no dine-in experience at all. If you are not essential, you can be stopped by the local law enforcement. They have put out the word that they're not going to do that unless there's an active traffic violation going on. Then say, why are you out? And that's statewide. And our county has even more restrictive. For instance, funerals, no more than 10 people can gather at a time. The state is 50 people. So that's sad. Shell writes, I think we have supplies for another month. I spend a lot of time buying meats and stocking them all well before this. I live far from town. We're kind of in the same situation, Shell. Let me make sure this is not one of my kids. It is not. We don't stockpile. We just happen to buy at Costco and always have. And so we just bought a full ribeye, which my husband portioned. We have like 24 steaks. We will buy entire pork shoulders. We will buy several packages of pork belly, which is essentially what bacon comes from. Chicken. We've got lamb. We're okay. And we're just generally okay. We're not too worried. Plus we have chickens. We have 115 eggs on our counter. Kathy Moody writes, my world, staying home equals being productive. Painting rooms and cleaning brush, LOL. And Jennifer Pierce writes, so true. We can still be kind. We can be kind. That costs nothing. And you never know when your kind word might soothe someone. All I can do is gather community. That's what I have the tools to do. And I have the facility to do it. And I can talk. And I can share perspective. And people can bolster each other up. And if you can't find a group, start one. Start a Google Hangout. Is Google Hangout still a thing? I don't even know if it is. Start a Facebook page for people in my city who are concerned. You know, I don't want to give Facebook any more traction, but it can bring people together. Lori writes, spring cleaning and yard work is keeping me busy in Wisconsin. Yeah, keep your hands occupied. Keep your mind occupied. A reminder, eating will not change the situation unless the situation is that you're quite hungry. But eating will not change any of that. So find something else. Don't beat yourself up if you are not being hyperproductive. Our friend Annie, she's been super productive. I feel kind of bad. Cynthia asks, Casey, is your husband still able to work? He is. He is considered a critical trade, and he is getting someone's bathroom back up to functioning. Don't know how long that'll last, but they are extremely conscientious of each other, and so they stay far apart. And he washes up; his hands are going raw. He's washing up so much, and he cleans and he wears masks and everything, without ever being in the same live stream or video chat together. Two people met on the Go Keto with Casey cruise from last March. Sadly, our July cruise this year was canceled, but we will do something else. And they're both nurses. And one posted on the group a picture. A woman at her church had made a mask, and it reads, it's from cloth. It says, "Keep calm and eat bacon." And so the one woman, another nurse in Michigan, shared, "I really like that. I would like to buy one. Where could I buy one?" And she said, "I'll send you one." She made two. Keep calm and eat bacon. That seems pretty good. Hey, Vita. I've been taking a walk and calling a friend in the same time. Got to get those endorphins going and staying connected. Vita, have you had any interesting connections recently? You might want to save that for Patreon, I know. What happens in Patreon stays in Patreon. Thank you, honey. I think my producer just did something. Oh, good heavens. Jenny, someone at my grocery store spit on a cashier? What? You know, as the old saying goes, adversity does not build character, it reveals it. And that probably is criminal. Shell writes, be kind to yourself, gang. Good baths, good sleep, stay informed, but turn the TV off. You know what? I do a quick run of the news headlines in the morning and then the evening, and that's it. We don't have cable television. I don't watch it. I rely on sources I believe, which is one reason when Dr. Eric Westman says the time to cover your face is now, I believe him. He is not an alarmist. Again, I'm going to put this in here again. This is not a money-making venture, y'all, this crowdcast. It is an opportunity to hear Dr. Westman talk about what he feels are important moves for us to make in the things that we can do. The things like keto, the things that we can do are leave off the carbs. It's simple. It can make us healthier. We do know, I have read, that those at most risk high blood pressure, smoking, and cancer. So I think any vascular risk and metabolic risk, diabetes, just makes us more vulnerable. Why would that be? Because our defenses are busy taking care of the type 2 diabetes and the high blood pressure and the lung, the respiratory issues, and the cancer. You know, and some people have all of those. They have cancer and diabetes, and they smoke, and they have high blood pressure. I think Zoe Harcum put out this was about 10 days ago, so it's outdated, put out an analysis of the confirmed deaths to that point. There were like 4 categories of any of those underlying situations. The death rate was 0.9% out of 100%. So we need to take care of ourselves. Take care of ourselves. Does anyone have a comment or a question or want to reach out for some support? Is anyone struggling particularly? And it's not, there's no shame in saying, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm worried. I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm afraid. There's no negative to that. I consider whatever I do, I'm half motivational speaker and half provider of support groups. Or maybe it's 60-40 or 70-30, I don't know. But right now it's about support. So if we are together, supportive of one another, abused to the cashier and wouldn't social distance, said he didn't have to. Some people just are so obnoxious. They are, it's like there's a very brief time where a topic comes up in Gordon's Law. I think it's called Gordon's Law. Someone's going to invoke the Nazis. And that tells you how ridiculous the argument is. Sonia writes, people are crazy out there, panicking but refusing to stay home. Can we eat sprouts if we sprout at home? Okay. Stay home and stay safe. Easy. That is actually my daughter-in-law. Pardon me, I do need to respond to her. Sorry. It's my kids or my husband. They come first. Everyone is cool. She was not saying anything rough. We're just setting up a contact. Mona writes, I can't sleep. Now, is that out of anxiety, Mona? Do you feel vulnerable? Sometimes we can feel, this feels like everything's out of our control. And a lot of things are out of our control. Unless someone here is going to be coming up with a vaccine, we can't help this right now. We can't do anything other than make common sense decisions on our behaviors, avoid knuckleheads in the grocery store, stay home if you can. If you cannot, wear a face mask, wash your hands. If you can't find any hand sanitizer, and if you happen to have some isopropyl alcohol, get some rags, serve yourself. This is not the time to say, wow, I really deserve a bag of Lay's potato chips because we're in a pandemic. It's the opposite of what we should be doing. I'm making no judgment. I'm just saying what we really can control are things to help us be healthy and safe. If we do those things, it can help us feel more in control. Something like this, it's feeling like we are helpless that can make us feel hopeless. But this is not a helpless or hopeless situation. There's going to be pain. All we can do is take care of ourselves the best we can. Take care of those we love. Be respect, not to protect the person wearing the face mask as much as protecting people from the people wearing the face masks. It might provide some protection. Some, I don't know, he can talk to that. But if nothing else, it can stop us from messing with our mouths and our, I'm touching a bandana. I don't need to be doing that. But also, if we happen to sneeze, we're in public, we take one opportunity to go out in 2 weeks to go get something, and we happen to be in the checkout line and we sneeze uncontrollably. You don't want to be that person, right? At least if you're covered and you do like this, you can do your best so people don't treat you like a leper. Okay, Mona, every day the Ministry of Health tells how much deaths today. It is awful. Even if we are fine at home, we are influenced by others' happiness, others. Absolutely. I feel sad. I do not feel scared. I don't feel vulnerable. I feel sad. Cases. The number of deaths, yes, this is huge. Poor New York City. But there are many multiples of the number of deaths that have recovered worldwide. We need to keep that in mind, that more people are recovering than dying. So I would go to the Johns Hopkins site, and I look at it at the end of every day at 7 o'clock, and I log the numbers for the world, the United States, and I have current cases, percentage of increase day over day. But those of you who know me know I love spreadsheets. And then I put it away. And I do the same thing for the North Carolina site. Terry Duncan writes, Queenie in the house, at my Walmart yesterday, even lines with lines restricting how many inside, allowing only one item per person for some items, all chicken gone, as well as paper towels and toilet paper. What's up with the chicken? What's up with the chicken being gone? Okay, bought 100 pounds of beef in January. Who knew the importance of that? Good on you. Let's share some nice things. Let's have some normalcy. So let's share an upbeat story. In my area, people have gotten tubs of sidewalk chalk, and they're writing messages to each other on the sidewalks and in the street as families physically distance, but get out and get some vitamin D and walk the dog and push the baby. And it's just signs, everyone's saying. And then there's something called a bear hunt, where people are putting teddy bears visible from the street, so kids can play like a little map where they've seen bears. It's really cute. Some people are so creative. So let's think of something optimistic. That was just my daughter-in-law responding to my response to her. So let's, I'm not a Pollyanna. This is serious, but I am an optimist. This will pass. What we want to do is we want to be on the fortunate side after it passes. We want to be strong, healthy. Many people apparently will be immune, which is nice. Hopefully lessons will be learned. Hopefully we will learn those people in our community that we don't want to be friends with. We don't want to rely on them to be generous of spirit. People are not everyone is covering themselves in glory, but many people are. My neighborhood howls. This is Sheila D. Hey, Sheila. My neighborhood howls at 8 p.m. every night. It's really cool. Is this the drum out for the medical workers? I know that our daughter and her mate and our granddaughter, they live in an apartment in Portland, Oregon. I don't even know which floor it is. But they put messages, cut out big paper things and messages on the big window. And then they had a drum out at like 7 p.m. or something for medical people and first responders. They just opened the windows and everyone was thumping their drums. Trish, you're absolutely right. The Serenity Prayer is perfect for this situation. We can't control this outside of what we can control. We can only control our behavior. That's all. So let's do that. Let's flip our stress into strength. That's actually going to be my next set of postcards for the patrons. I'm trying to come up with a graphic for it. But that was before any of this. Let's flip our stress into strength. Strength for ourselves, strength for those around us. Sometimes the best thing we can do to calm ourselves is to talk somebody else off the ledge. Here, to look in hindsight. When things got rough, what do we want the people around us to have seen us doing? What do we want those who depend on us What kind of behavior do they want to have seen from us? Do they want us to have been selfish and stockpiling? And I've got mine, now you can get yours if you can, because I need 3 years worth of toilet paper? You know, history will judge us as individuals, not the world history, but the people around us. We can do the right thing. And as the Rudyard Kipling poem If reads, if you can keep your head while those around you are losing theirs, ... fill in the blank. It's a very long poem, but you get the gist. Sheila writes, the howling originally started to acknowledge those that have to still go out in the working world. It has evolved to acknowledge that we're in this together. We are in this together, literally, literally. If we never thought that we impact each other's lives, this puts the lie to that. A virus that started wherever it started, in a province in China, in a fish market, I think they say, 4 months later, is impacting Prince Charles and members of Congress and Trudeau's wife and our grandparents and people in South Carolina, North Carolina, New York, and North Dakota, and Serbia and Iceland. If we don't think we influence each other's lives, maybe this is the universe trying to put a fine point on it that we do. And we need to be careful what our influence is. So I'm going to look to comments for just a little bit. Tom Hanks, yeah, and his wife. How are they doing, by the way? Any updates on that? I know they were self-isolating. That was about 3 weeks ago. Shell writes, if eating carbs is the worst thing to happen, I'll be happy as long as you guys are safe and healthy. Yeah, it's just figure out what you do to get through it. I can tell you that I'm not interested in feeling physically ill and compromising my immune system, because that's what would happen to me. It wouldn't happen to everybody, but is what would happen to me. Sheila Lesage writes, or Lesage, I'm sorry, Lesage, it's still so surreal, but it sure makes you stop and think about how fragile life really is. But kindness and love is what will make us strong. Yep. You know, there's the old fable. The wind and the sun had a wager. There was a man walking down the path, and he had a heavy cloak on. And the wager between the wind and the sun was, I can get that man. What was it? Oh, someone else is going to know. I can get that man. I can get that cloak off that man. Really? I'll take that wager, they each say. So the wind blows and blows and blows and blows. Howling wind, going to blow that cloak right off that man. Of course, the man, what he did was he clutched the cloak tighter because the wind was blowing so hard. And the sun said, enough. I'll show you how it's done. And so the sun just shone as brightly as possible. And the man said, oh, it's warm. I'm going to take off my cloak. Think of the wind as the adversity. And think of the sun as the positivity. I'm sorry if I mangled that fable. And it may not be a fable because there's no animal in it. So I might have just mangled the whole thing. I'm sure my friend Michelle will point it out to me. Sandra Blake writes, could you please elaborate on losing more inches than pounds on the keto diet? Okay, we'll talk about keto. Okay, here's the thing. Losing inches without losing ounces is a thing. Here's my understanding of it. It's very simplistic. But so say we're following the protocol and we're burning fat for fuel. Well, the fat cells don't, they don't get emptied out and then evaporate immediately. They get emptied out of all their stuff, which can include triglycerides and hormones and fat and water. Nature abhors a vacuum. And possibly nature has seen Casey's lost weight before, and she's emptied out these fat cells before. Let's just wait a minute. She's going to fill them back up. And so nature pouring a vacuum, the fat cells plump back up, but with water rather than with fat. The cell of water weighs the same as the cell of fat, but it takes up less space. Okay? In this case, the water is denser than the fat. So it weighs the same, takes up less space. We'll think of this as an ounce, a pound of lead, maybe that big, and a pound of marshmallows. There's a lot of marshmallows. They both weigh a pound. One takes up less space. So what happens is, okay, it's in, and the water's there, taking up less space. And the body's waiting around. It's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is. You know what? I don't think we got any fat coming back in here. Water, you've done your duty. You are released. And that's when you get a whoosh. So in the meantime, you've taken up less space, but you weigh the same. It's a thing. So don't go by the scale so much. Go by how you feel, how your clothes fit on you, and don't worry about the scale. Cynthia Leith writes, Sandra, I lost no weight, but inches on my waist in 2 pant sizes. It's a thing, so just stick with it. If the scale bothers you, stop using it. Go buy your clothes. And frankly, we know how we feel. We know how we feel. We know if we've overeaten. We know if we've eaten the wrong things. We know. We know. There's an old definition of cheating on your mate. If you say or do something with another person that you would not do if your partner, your mate, was standing right there, you're cheating. You are being unfaithful. We don't need a hard and fast rule to say, may I eat this, or is this good for me, or does this work for me? We know it. We know it. Friends. Oh, I like your explanation, makes sense. Thank you, Cynthia. Downsizing of losing lots of weight. Clothes don't fit anymore. And I got rid of my fat clothes. Some people hang on to them, but to me it's implicit. Implicitly telling myself I'm going to get fat again, and I'm not. Does fat redistribute in the body as you lose? Still losing pounds, but I feel that my shape keeps changing. Everyone has a different circumstance. I'm shaped differently than I expected that I would have been if someone would have told me I would have lost this much weight. I always had a huge badunkadunk, and now I don't have one at all, hardly. I got my waist back. I was kind of round. Well, not kind of, I was round. But some people experience different things. And some people experience that the quality of the body fat gets squishy and mushy before it, and then it disappears. So we all have our different experiences. Teresa Taylor writes, we live in a world where people want instant satisfaction. If the scale hovers, it's not enough and they want to quit. You have to be patient and trust the process. Absolutely. And if the scale does not serve you, it's a tool for us, remember. It's not the boss of us. It's a tool we're supposed to use. And if my husband, he's a home remodeler, if he had a tool that didn't work or that it irritated him every time he used it, he would not use that tool anymore. So if the scale bothers you, it should not ruin your day. If it informs your decision-making process, you get data from it, you say, oh, well, now I know that whatever thing, that extra serving of broccoli or whatever it is, over the last week that I've been doing, it doesn't serve me. We'll figure it out. Spy21 writes, Trish, I'm a 49-year-old male and had to learn to sew and make new clothes. My friends think it's hilarious. I think it's sexy. I think it's super awesome. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I said that before, but I really am going to wrap it up. So thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Take care of yourselves. Tune in. I'm going to put it in here one more time because I think it's important. If Dr. Westman thinks it's very important, I think it's very important because I trust him and he's not an alarmist. And it's a simple thing to do. So join us at 2 p.m. Crowdcast. It's free. It's not a thing. I mean, it's a PSA. Think of it that way. And I will be around. All I can do is all I can do. So I am planning on making more live streams and old school videos. I can do some outside, but not on this setup. The phone works better on outside. Maybe I'll do one from the chicken yard. And let's just stay connected, stay connected, stay connected, even as we have to stay apart. This will pass. It's going to be okay for most of us. It's okay. Breathe. Take care of yourself. This might be a good time to start meditating. Whatever works for you. And let's check in with each other. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.